He said on the Pat McAfee show, Mike Tomlin loves Russell Wilson. Loves him like you're looking at your little baby kid at home. He absolutely loves him. No way or no doubt, Russell Wilson will be the Steelers' QB1 no matter what.
This is the Lombardi Line with former NFL executive Michael Lombardi. Now here is your host, Stormy Buonantony, on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
It's time to ask Michael Lombardi, no way or no doubt.
So every year, Michael, the NFL makes a variety of changes. This year, more radical change than we are accustomed to when it comes to the new NFL hybrid kickoff. Also, the ban on the hip drop tackle. You got a lot of players upset about it, saying you're watering down the league. What even is a tackle? No way or no doubt. The NFL is legislating defense and special teams out of the game. How do you feel?
No doubt. No doubt they are. They're trying to they want it to be a high-scoring affair. They don't really want special teams. They don't see the need for special teams. They don't understand special teams. And they would just rather have the offense have all the rules in their favor and go from there. And they don't understand the essence of the true game. And so all these rules are making it, and they do it under the disguise of player safety, when we're not sure that it's actually the case. And football is a three-dimensional game. You need to play good defense. Because, look, I've said this many times. The Patriots went 8 years without winning a Super Bowl after they lost to Denver in a divisional game. And they led the league in scoring 3 times. They never were lower than 8th in the league in scoring during that whole period. And yet they couldn't get over the hump. They lost 2 Super Bowls because they couldn't score in the key moments of games. So defense matters. And then they win 3 Super Bowls in 5 years and go to 4 Super Bowls because they really improved their defensive front and they improved their defense. So I think, to me, you can't take defense out of it and you can't take the kicking game out of it.
It's the offense's world, and we're just living in it, it seems like, right now. Speaking of which, the quarterback position, the most important on the football field, and the QB1 in Dallas has some interesting things come up about his contract. Earlier this week, Ian Rappaport reporting there is no indication the Cowboys will complete an extension with Dak Prescott. No way or no doubt, Michael, Prescott will be the Cowboys quarterback to start the 2025 season.
No doubt. I think
he's not going to hit the free agent market.
Pay him. No, I don't think he will. I think Jerry will pay him. Look, he's got him. You know, it's funny. We were talking about this on the podcast. We were grading the players in the draft based on the verbiage of the grading system. And, you know, Dak is one of those players who's really good. He doesn't carry the team. He helps the team, right? And so, but he's paid like a guy who carries the team, and God bless him. You know, he's this version of Kirk Cousins without going through free agency. I mean, he leaves no money on the table, ever. You know, and this is why they're in this jam. I mean, his cap number's $55 million. And if they let him go, his acceleration from redoing his deal. I mean, Dak has made a fortune and hasn't really produced wins in playoff games. He's no different than Kirk Cousins.
Dak Prescott and the Cowboys' season win total this year, 10.5. He's on the final year of his deal. Mike McCarthy on the final year of his as well. Speaking of Kirk Cousins, his former wide receiver, Justin Jefferson, looking to get the bag himself. And their head coach, Kevin O'Connell, talked about Jefferson's impact on the QB situation at this week's league meetings in Orlando. He said, I felt strongly about keeping Jefferson informed. He's been in the loop. He's been aware. He's allowed to articulate things to me via our relationship. And that's been through this whole process. No way or no doubt, Michael, Justin Jefferson deserves to have a say in the Vikings' next quarterback.
No way. I mean, all he should worry about just playing it, and he's going to get paid. Like let the coaches and the personnel guys handle that. He's got enough on his plate being a great player, and he's got to trust the people around him. It's no different than when you're playing in a basketball game and you see the open man, you pass the ball, or the open woman, you pass the ball, and you trust they're going to make the shot. He has to trust that the Vikings will do the right thing.
While there's no argument that Justin Jefferson is an elite wide receiver, he deserves to get paid. There's some wideouts who are getting paid a little more than they probably deserve at this point. And new Eagles, running back Saquon Barkley had something to say about that. Take a listen.
It's easy to say, like, what they're doing to the running backs is not fair. And I don't believe that. There's guys, I'm not taking shots of anybody, but, like, there's receivers and there's positions, like, who have 600, 500 receiving yards or this amount of stats, and, like, they're getting paid more than running backs. And it's like,
it's bogus. It really is bogus.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But like even like same thing with tight ends. It's like you're not just a tight end. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and you got wide receivers that are probably making more money than you
with less production.
And and it's not fair.
And I did love, by the way, at the end of this comment coming from the New Heights podcast with Travis and Jason Kelce. He said, running backs want to get paid more. Like, we got to earn it. We got to go out there and show why we deserve more. But no way or no doubt, Michael, elite running backs should be paid more than some of these middle-tier wide receivers.
No doubt. And I've been saying that forever. The analytical community has really been the one who hates running backs, And there is some merit to the fact that you can find backs. I don't disagree with that. Like I said about Bijan Robinson, I'm all for, I think the Falcons should have taken Carter over Robinson. However, when you get one who's dynamic at the right price and you're not using a high draft choice to get him and he can impact. Remember, Aaron Jones was a 5th-round pick. And he can impact the passing game, then you've got to pay the guy to the fair market, and he's more valuable than a third receiver. I mean, think about this. Last year, the Raiders carried Hunter Renfrow on their team at $16 million a year, and they struggled to want to pay Josh Jacobs. How does that make any sense at all?
That's like saying 1 plus 1 does not equal 2. That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, you say, well, Josh Jacobs is going to have a shorter. Really? I mean, Hunter Renfrow has no career anymore. So it's like these inside receivers are getting it. And I thought what Barkley said about Kelce, and he did it really in a great way. Kelce's not a tight end. He's a wide receiver. He has been selfless in taking money. He could easily take more money and say, look, I want to get paid like Christian Kirk, who got a huge deal. I want to get paid like Calvin Ridley. But he kind of settles in the market to help the team. But he impacts the game, or did. I don't know if he continues to, but they deserve to get paid. And just like these running backs who can impact the passing game, they deserve to get paid.
Chris Ballard has heard all the negative comments about the Colts prioritizing re-signing their internal free agents versus going out and getting a big name in free agency. He responded and said, different is not always better. We just didn't spend on outside names. At the end of the day, we know who our players are. We thought our free agents were good players. ESPN Stephen Holder did report that the Colts offered Danielle Hunter more than the Texans did, but Hunter chose Houston. No way or no doubt, though, when it comes to Chris Ballard, he should be criticized for not spending money on big-name outside free agents. Thoughts?
No way on that one. I think, look, I think that just because you didn't sign a big name doesn't mean you didn't improve your team. And I think what Chris did was take the money and put it in players he knows as the ones he didn't. He tried to sign Hunter. Obviously, that the Tennessee, the Texas state free tax market really helped. So I think ultimately you can't control that. But what he needs to do is he needs to fix his team, right? So if you just bring back your team, are you really improved, right? You got to be able to get some other additions. They need secondary help. They passed on Snead because I think they were worried about his overall medical. Was he going to last the length of the contract? And then they were going to have to pay a high pick, which ended up not being true, for a guy that they were going to have to then pay a lot of money to. So for me, I think a lot is to be determined how he handles the next couple weeks.
One of my favorite quotes coming out of Orlando this week from Steelers reporter Mark Cavalli of The Athletic. He said on the Pat McAfee show, Mike Tomlin loves Russell Wilson. Loves him like you're looking at your little baby kid at home. He absolutely loves him. You hear things about potentially could Justin Fields beat him out. That's just not going to happen. He's going to have to fail catastrophically in season for there to be a move. No way or no doubt, Russell Wilson will be the Steelers' QB1 no matter what. Tomlin loves him.
I believe there's no doubt he'll be the starter because I think what Mark said is true. And I think by the way that the Steelers got this deal done so quickly, as I said, there had to be some kind of conversation between Tomlin and Wilson that Wilson liked what he heard. And I think he liked what he heard. So for me, I think there's no question.
I think that, barring an injury, Russell Wilson has to be the QB1 from day one. Because I just don't think that being a veteran and getting the reps that you get in preseason, that there's just not opportunity for him to lose that job in my brain. I don't know. I agree what he said, though. Something would have to go wrong in season for there to be a change.
Yeah, I just think, to me, Russell's experience, and Arthur's going to want somebody that he can count on. I mean, remember, Arthur's in a little bit of a shell shock world from Ritter's not protecting the ball. He starts to see field's not protect the ball, he's going to have deja vu all over again, as Yogi said.